Hello, good
I don't know
afternoon.
if you hear me.
Yes, I can hear you very well, Manuel. Good
Okay,
afternoon. How are you doing, guys?
fine, thank you, teacher. And you?
Awesome, I'm good. Okay, well, we are here together to talk about online lessons and emotions during online lessons. My name is Oscar Martinez Valdez. I am the English or Languages Coordinator at Universidad Latinoamericana Campus Cuernavaca. And here with us, we have some students from the medicine study program. So would you like to introduce yourselves?
Yes, I'm going to start first, teacher.
Yes, go ahead, Manuel.
Well, I'm going to present myself before anything else. But well, my name is Manuel Rocio Morales. A brief introduction of my life. It's I lived in Cuernavaca. I live in Cuernavaca, Morelos. But before I lived in Mexico City, I believe the most of my life was in there. At this time, I'm 23 years old, and studies medicine in Universidad Latinoamericana. I'm studying the seventh semester. I already have a sister, but I'm the youngest of both of us. My favorite color is yellow, I believe, and I like to watch movies, outside activities, and listen different kind of music, and no matter the gender of it.
The genre.
Okay, hi, hello. My name is Andrea Perez. I'm 23 years old. I live and I was born in Cuernavaca, Morelos. I don't have a boyfriend. I study medicine in the Universidad Latinoamericana in seventh semester. I practice volley as a sport for 20, 10 years old, so. Both I study medicine and I stopped doing it. But I start exercise in my house, but I miss practicing volley. And in my free time, I watch movies or series, and mm, that's all.
Okay, I'm Karen Rosas. I live and was born in Pautla, Morelos. I'm currently 20 years old, almost 23. I'm studying medicine at the Universidad Latinoamericana, Campus Cuernavaca. I'm in seventh semester. I'm the youngest daughter of two children, and my favorite color is purple. I like pop music, and my favorite artist is Justin Bieber since I was 10 or 11 years old. And in my free time, I like to sleep, watch series or movies, and listen music. I practiced swimming as a sport for 6 years or a little more, but since I studied medicine, I stopped doing it, and it's something that I miss a lot because I really love swimming. And a curious fact about me is that my zodiac sign is Virgo.
Well, I'm Daniela Prado Garcia. I was born and live in Mexico City. I study medicine in in University Latinoamericana on seventh semester, and I love it. I'm 20 years old, and my birthday is on June. Um, Before the pandemic, I lived in Cuernavaca, but currently I live in Mexico City from the same reason. I don't have brothers, and my favorite color is blue sky. Well, um, good afternoon to all who are going to accompany us during this conversation about teaching and emotion in online class. Well, when we start taking the online class, we thought it will only be 15 days while the infection subside. We never thought it would go that far. But today we continue with this important situation and we talk about to this. The topics that we talk is the pandemic on the school closing, teaching during online classes, emotion and the beginning of the pandemic, and emotion after a year of pandemic. Okay, we start now.
Yeah, the first topic is teaching and school closing, and I'm gonna talk about that. And I think that the coronavirus disease or this pandemic to COVID-19 has caused a crisis in all of areas in the field of education, and this emergency has led the massive closure of face-to-face activities in educational institutions in more than 119 countries in order to prevent the spread of the virus, mitigate its impact. The Economic Commission for Latin America and the Caribbean has stated that even before facing the pandemic, and the social situation in the region was deteriorating due to the increase in poverty and extreme poverty rates. In this context, the crisis will have significant negative effects on the different social evolution of poverty. And um, in the field of education, most of the measures adopted by the countries of the region in response to the crisis are related to suspensions of face-to-face class activities in all of levels, which have given rise to three main fields of action. The development of distance learning, learning modalities using a how can you say variedad?
Variety.
Variety,
Variety or variety?
variety of formats and platforms to the support and mobilization of education and the communities, and the closure, the how can I say el cierre, the
Culture.
closure,
Yeah.
even temporary of schools cause a great social and economic cost. Isn't not an only difference in access to equipment, but also in the set of skills required to take advantage of this opportunity. Um, eh, about all of this, I think that Mexico was in a crisis because some families didn't have internet or service or even a smartphone that would allow them to have access to the application required to take classes online. So at the beginning of the pandemic, many students of any academic level couldn't take classes because they didn't have to do the necessary to.
Yeah, that's so true.
Yeah, after that, my friends Karen say, since the arrival of the COVID-19 pandemic in Mexico and the subsequent close of the school, um, the country's educational system has been severely affected. The manifestation and effect have been different according to the characteristics such education level and type of support and territorial location, and amongst others. However, at all levels and modalities, the great social and economic inequalities amongst students have become viable, and in terms of access to learning and resources to face the crisis. In this context of discussion and in order to think of possible scenarios, I consider it important to advance of the knowledge of the specificities of each education level and this modality. I also think it's important to note and document the specific ways in which social and educational inequalities are expressed, and it's my opinion.
So who's next? What else do you have to say?
I think that the next is Prado.
Yes, I'm talk about uh, emotion and teaching during online classes. Well, uh, online classes have been very difficult in general. Since not being in a classroom, you don't concentrate in the same way. You don't receive the same information. You lose practice as it is in medicine, and you have to study three more times to have the necessary knowledge. I also imagine that it is not easy for the teachers since they don't know if your issue was clear from the lack of seeing the facial expression. uh, Unfortunately, we will know how much knowledge we have acquired when we are back in a practice. I think that. Well, well, what is your opinion about that?
Well, I believe it's a very complex thing to change because all the techniques about the schools, I don't know, all that kind of apprentices were made a long time ago. So it's very difficult to they adapt and change everything so quickly. And all the technologies behind that have to be, I don't know, they have to be acquired by the teachers and the schools. And everything becomes more complex to be done because everyone, or well, not everyone are interested to change or improve his abilities and make very good plan of classes or change the plan of classes or planations, but sometimes it's new and we have to learn about it, and I don't know, maybe know how compensate the learnings with new technologies and achieve all the objectives of the learning. And I believe we have to adapt and change.
Okay, well, the next topic is talk about the emotion at the beginning of the pandemic. Well, I'm gonna to explain a little with I think with evidence, and the one is the University of San Ignacio de Loyola conducts an investigation in September 2020, in which what investigate the impact of virtual classes on university students in the context of COVID-19. And its population was 74 young people from the Pontificia Universidad Católica del Perú of the academic cycle 2021. And this questionnaire was used, of which the following question stand out. One of these questions is, what emotion or emotions do virtual classes provoke in you? And 40% respond that they present stress, 30% anxiety, and 17% frustration, 10% fear, and 5% anger. Another question was, do you feel that the virtual classes have affected your mental health? And for which 12% answered yes. And so in these two questions that stand out from the questionnaire is given us to understand that there is a mental affection in the student when receiving online classes. and about all that they are having emotional manifestations which can have recuperation in their learning and in their personal life. And there are very few studies but personal experience, and the few study present giving us the concept to identify the perception of medical student and any other carried on online courses and the repercussions, yes, repercussions of on the
Yeah,
emotional
repercussions.
state, yes, to the current health contingency situation by SARS-CoV-2, which led university to close their facilities and implement academic courses in the online modality. And finally, at the beginning of the pandemic, the OMS elaborated a series of messengers to support mental and psychosocial well-being oriented to different groups, which at the beginning made you feel motivated by the advice, but we begin at home with the time, the news, there were worsening our emotions. And I
Well,
don't know.
excuse me. Continue, please.
No, it's
Um,
okay. Your turn.
Okay. Okay. I agree with you. That's right. Uh, not existing enough studies have been done to know the repercussion they will have on learning, on the feelings of students and teachers. But from comments from other college, we know that it has affected them enough in all these areas of life. I think that. Mm, well, other other friend have a comment.
Mm,
So
Oh,
how do you feel, guys? Really, I mean, it's been more than a year. Are you satisfied? Are you insatisfied?
I think
As you said, we thought that we would leave school only for 2 weeks, but it's become more than a year. So we were not really prepared, mentally prepared for this. So do you think the ULA we have done, I don't know, or have taken the necessary steps to keep offering you good education? How do you feel? What do you think we have done well? What do you think we have done wrong? What do you think we should improve? Because education needs.
I believe we should improve like the
Go ahead.
techniques of the apprendance, or I don't
Learning.
know, the studying techniques. I believe that that's the most important. Of I don't know. I believe we compartir. We
Share,
I don't I forget the word, teacher.
share, we share.
I believe we share the opinion about we feel unsatisfied about the school caring about like mental health or the commodity of the classes in general. But i I think that's something we should learn and improve in our classes, because not everyone has like, I don't know, the knowledge before acquire it. And well, this is an experience like new for all the world. So I believe it's something we have to live to learn how to do it better. But I believe that's the way, like, all of us are improving this kind of learning, like the e-learning that
Yeah.
it's new for all of us. So well, I believe we share that kind of opinion, but I don't know if what my partners think about it.
mm, I think well, I think two things about all of this pandemic and problem. First, I think that the pandemic affect us both academically and emotionally. And science began, how can I say, estar encerrados tanto tiempo.
Being in so much time or being isolated so much time?
Being so much time, and that generate us stress, anxiety, and
Anxiety?
anxiety, and even depression. And but I believe that it's, but now I believe that in this point we are a little closer to reaching to the goal of the new normal.
Normality?
And the second thing, I think that any school was prepared for close like this, and any school had a structured platform to live the online classes, even ULA.
So you think that we, in general, referring to other schools, we were not really prepared for such a thing?
Yes.
I know that some schools really were aware of the global situation. They kind of saw this coming, but it was very quickly because the first cases that started resounded around the world were in December, I think, and then by February we were all called in. So certainly we didn't to make a transition as big as the one we did in 2 months, that actually was made in 1 week and a half, something like that. The type of preparation that teachers and also students needed, I think it wasn't the best, evidently, but it was what could be done. But anyways, have you felt an improvement from the very first semester we concluded in the online way, and these other 2 semesters that we have started and finished in the online way? Have you seen any improvement? For example, I know that many of your professors, me myself, we were not prepared to use tools such as Zoom or Moodle or stuff like that, or Google Classroom, or any other electronic resources in order to work in this new modality. But have you seen any improvement from your teachers, from the resources, or are we the same? What do you think? Or are you the same? You two, have you gotten better?
I think that the first semester we suffer a lot because neither the teachers or students knew how to manage the platforms to 100%. And now I think that is better than before, but creo que todavía no al 100%. We
Yeah.
not be accustomed.
We are not used to.
Yeah.
So, what semester are you all in seventh, right?
Yes.
Yes, teacher.
What about the practices?
Oof. I believe that's a complete different topic, but that thing worrying a lot worried about us because I don't know, the semesters we are like cursando.
Course in taking?
The coursing semester,
The
we
current
should
semester.
be in okay, the current semester it's like 70% practices and 30% theory for us. So I believe that's a very bad, I don't know, compensation we have about that, because we can like compensate the practice, the physical way to go explore a patient, talk with a doctor, make a clinic history, and a lot of things like we can learn like practicing a lot. We can do it by online classes, and well, we have a lot of troubles with that. And well, I believe that's the most worrying thing for us, or at least for me. And in other moments we share that feeling, all of us, because in finishing the 8th semester, we have to go to the internship to a hospital and make a lot of practices without knowing anything before. And that's the most big trouble for us because we don't know how to do it, and we have to do it in the hospital practicing, and we can do it that before.
Have you, sorry, have you talked to the university authorities about a plan for you to kind of recover all that lost time and somehow, uh, yeah, well, lose what or recover, sorry, what was lost? Is there any
Mm,
strategy, a intensive course, a way to somehow compensate it?
it's a very complex thing. We have talked about that, I don't know, like 3 or 4 times with the directives of school, and they said it's very complex because we have a lot of groups, like our group, another group, and 6th grade, 5th grade, and they have to make his practices at the same time of us, and we can't rotate by the same plazas, by the same, I don't know, by the same activities than them, because we're going to saturate the system, and it's not like the ULA was looking for that practices. It's like the YM, el, el Politécnico, and other schools that are looking for the
The places.
places for his students, and they can practice, and that's the problem. Then for that we can like compensate that practice we are lost before.
Yeah, and with this scenario, I think it is also complicated to find a place and to congregate the people in one place. I mean, we are still not prepared for that. How do you feel regarding this? What do you think is going to happen?
Mm,
I don't know, but I think that the biggest fear we have is that we almost going to work in a school that will not have enough resources. Well, personally, if I am afraid of being in front of the patient with no necessary experience, but I don't. Yeah.
yes, and the director said that also also the next semester we will go to the internado,
Yeah.
and the director said that there we will learn that we didn't learn during the pandemic, but I think that it's not a good idea.
Yeah.
Yeah, I believe it's a very complex about all the things we are saying right now, and I believe that another problem that it's not usually taking on count, it's like the psychologist problem, the
Yeah, emotional
I
problems.
forget the word, teacher.
I don't know, psychological
Like,
problems.
yes, thank you. Psychological problems, for example, I believe it's something we are not taking in care. Uh,
Into
I don't
consider
know for what, I didn't hear it. Sorry.
we're not taking into consideration.
Yes, we are not taking it into consideration, and I believe that's after a year of pandemic, there are various emotions we have to grow and throughout the confinement, and
Confinement, yeah.
in which we have seen the need to both living with different people with whom we are not used to learning to cooperate with our emotions, and within confinement this becomes I don't know, very important when learning to treat people, and much more at the moment we have to be intelligent emotionally, and
Yeah.
many emotions we are involved. So I don't know, much nostalgia for the lost time. I believe all of us feel a nostalgia for the lost time and frustration for the activities that we cannot perform as we like, and many objectives we are not to be like each other, each of one of us, and that forces to face those failures and leaves a void which we have to face on a daily basis. And I don't know, that's a problem because we have to reach a point where we get used to day a day to routine inside our homes, and that com- start to stop the healing of mental emotions, because we we have a new problems in our house, in I don't know, in our safe places. So I believe that's something we don't take care about it, and not a lot of people is thinking about,
Yeah, well,
because that even the owner it's
yeah. Continue, Manuel, continue.
so well, even the ONU says that it's a bad thing stays in our home without making exercise and activities, and that's something to expectancy of life, and that's a very worrying thing for the world of us.
Well, yeah, it is actually. Many people have manifested fatigue. I personally there was a moment when I went into depression, a very profound depression. I don't know if this happened to you, but I really felt exhausted. I didn't want to do anything, and I didn't want to get off the bed, get up. Really, I just didn't want to do anything. So later on, I noticed that you have to face problems in a proactive way, that you have to try to uh, keep motivated. So the idea is to stick to a healthy routine. So get up early in the morning as you used to before, take a shower early as you used to before, take care of yourself as you used to before, trying to do exercise. That is very important, because exercising also, it stimulates the uh, brain transmitters to work and make us happier, etc. So we should really think on what we do, and doing things maybe differently, but trying to stay connected as well. The lack of social contact also affects. I don't know how you have felt about that.
Yes, teacher, I believe it's all of us have been through about that depression, about that mental sickness, and I believe that's common in all the confinement,
Confinement.
because it's a very difficult way to adapt and don't do anything besides stay in my home all the time, just being here and don't change your room, and that's something exhausting, because uh, we are not used to stay all the time in the same place.
The same place.
I believe my partner Karem has an opinion, and it's very important about it.
Yes. About comparing that Manuel said, I think we reached a point where it's necessary to have contact with the outside world, and we were used to have a physical contact with our friends, teachers, family. Throughout the pandemic, we only live with family members every day, and in some cases have generate family conflicts because we weren't used to be living
To
in
spend so much time with them, right?
yeah, used to spend much time with the family, and I think that now it's necessary to go out and see other people que no sea la familia.
Yeah, who's not our family, with other faces. Well, we have to take advantage of the traffic light of the pandemic, el semáforo de la pandemia. I think if there are somehow we are now allowed to do some other activities outside, maybe we should take advantage to reconnect with our friends, maybe to go to a restaurant, take it into consideration, obviously, all the recommendations in order to prevent the spreading of the virus, you know, wearing your mask, keeping social distance. But maybe, yeah, we should take advantage of this period that we are now, professors have been vaccinated. The majority of vulnerable people, I mean, elderly, they have also been vaccinated. Perhaps we, with the necessary precautions, should kind of start reactivating us. For starters, I recently went back to a park where I used to swim, and I think I'm going back to swimming next week. So trying to go back to our routines is the, I don't know, something that I consider is going to be helpful and give us a breath. Maybe let's hope there is not another another wave of I don't know, COVID cases, but
Another wave of COVID.
yeah, but let's expect for the best, but be prepared for the worst too. I don't know.
Yes. Well, as you said, teacher, I believe it's very important, like recovering the routines and start to recovering our kind of life, because it's very important we motivate each other to start again our style of or lifestyle.
Yeah.
And I believe we have time enough to start like planning our, I don't know, we have the opportunity to reevaluate what kind of activities we like to do and what kind of things we want to experiment, because we, I don't know, this is a very important experience, or at least for me what's a very important experience, because I reevaluate like my objectives, my achievements, and I believe I have a new expectation and a new expectation of life. And I have a, well, I want a different way of spend my time, enjoy the small moments with my friends, my family. I believe that's very important right now.
You have said something quite relevant, Manuel. I mean, uh, I have said many people saying we were happy and we didn't know. I don't know if you get it. We had everything. We were living the
Yes,
life,
yes,
and
yes,
then
yes.
out of the sudden everything changed, and now we have this time, as you said, to reevaluate what we have done in our lives, what we could do in our future, how we could prevent something like this to happen again. I don't know. Yeah. What about you, Danny, Andy? How have you felt? How are you feeling going back? Because now some of you are going back to practices, I think, in the campus. Is this happening to you?
Yes, teacher. I think all uh, we we feel bad, really bad. But well, in conclusion, I think it's a really complicated issue, and I hope this ends as soon as possible. Recover the practice lost in so long time, and or all life and happiness, because this time uh is 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 hard. I think yes.
Okay.
I don't know. In conclusion, what do you think, Andy? Andy?
I think that Andy have trouble with her internet.
Oh well, you can. What do you think in conclusion?
In conclusion, ya se fue. In conclusion, I think that some people are still afraid of getting infected, and therefore don't go out to the outside. But with the how can I say plan de vacunación?
Vaccination plan.
Vaccination plan, I think that the rate of infection has dropped a little, and I hope to be in classes next semester in presential face-to-face classes, because I think that yeah, it's too much time.
It's been a
to,
lot.
yeah, to be in online classes.
Yeah. What would you say if you had to send a message to the rest of your classmates who are in the same situation that you are? If you had a recommendation or suggestion to make, what would you tell them? As Manuel said, I think we have to keep us motivated or motivate each other, try to support each other in order to keep advancing together. I don't know. Do you have anything to say?
Yes, I think that all of us have to take care of themselves. So to be para estar bien,
Be
how
well.
be well, and I think that this is the most important thing, to take care for care to all of them, and to be motivated to enter again to the class, to be better person, because uh, how can I say, como usted lo dijo?
As you said,
You said uh, before we have all, and now we don't have anything. Uh, when it's all, be better person and enjoy all.
okay, anybody else that would like to add something before we conclude this recording?
Um, just to take care of yourself, your family, and continue with positive attitude because
Well, and they continue to taking care of his family and their own, and continue making the pandemic rules like mask and I don't know, taking the health distance and that kind of things. We have to ensure to continue doing between we find I don't know a cure, but we find a new way to convivir.
Short time together to cohabitate.
Thank you, Chair. Like we find a new way to share time together without taking contagious everything, and that I think it's very important that.
Andy, can you talk to us? Are you there? Would you like to say something else before we finish? I listen to you,
So,
but very, very low. But that sounds better.
yes, okay.
Yeah.
Well, everything will end up happening, and what happened is that the process may take longer than we would like. I don't know, reducing our expiration temporarily. I'm not comparing ourselves with other groups that are gradually recovering certain freedom, like
Yeah.
activities not essential and the kids or everything. And I think it will be the best strategy. But I think that little by little you will recover your freedom and focus on what you can do again. For example, go out and play sport and everything, and that you could be before and enjoy. It's all.
Good. Well, guys, I want to thank you a lot for your time here, for sharing your thoughts on this. If there is anything I could help you with, count on me. And well, I hope to see you next time in class. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Thank you for your time.
Thank
Have a nice day.
You too.
Bye,
Thank you,
teacher.
teacher, for sharing with us this time.